Greetings everyone, special guest Pete here once again with another F1 Manager 2024 video. This is a follow-up to the kind of video I did on the creator team. This video will be a bit more of a deep dive on the other new features that are being released on this year's game. So before I get even more tongue-tied than I already am, let's start. So first off, we shall cover the mentality system. So it's definitely an upgrade on what we've had in the past two issues of the game. This is a deep dive. This is basically how happy your staff are and what you can do to improve them. If you have staff that are negative or demoralised, then there's a good chance you won't be able to rehire them when their contract's up. This is the screen here where you have a full overview. Luckily, well, you can see it's a brand new team I've created. No one's been quite enthusiastic about their job, but thankfully no one is negative or demoralised. This is obviously a creator team as well. So obviously, if you give yourself all the best staff with the worst car, then you're going to get people unhappy with the car performance. I've actually gone with a 1-star car here, 1 out of 5 star. People are still obviously disappointed because it is currently the worst car on the grid. You can obviously change people's perception of how things are going, but as you can see here, no one is unhappy. But if you click into each individual person, you can see what they like. So you've got their kind of personal situation, team performance, and what they think of me. So obviously the personal situation, they're happy with their current salary, which is obviously good. Team performance, we haven't had a race yet, so obviously that will stay neutral. And team principle, you can see their main concerns and kind of things they're happy with. Obviously, you can see I've made them a bit more positive because I've started upgrading facilities like the helipads, you know, the team headquarters, like the team hubs, improve them, and the staff hubs and all that kind of thing. And that I'm happy with. You can see car performance. Obviously, we're the worst car on the grid, so they're not going to be happy until we move up the grid. Other staff, so you can see, for instance, she is. If I just go to my staff quickly, you can see that, you know, she is 77. She's not happy. I've got a 74. Holly McDonald looking after car development. And of course, other thing, drivers as well, because obviously what I've done is, because we're a new team, I have taken 2 of the younger drivers who are technically, they are, you know, stats wise, they are the worst 2 drivers in the grid. So obviously she wants better drivers in the team. That is, you know, again, you can make them happy, as I've said, by doing things proactively. So for instance, you can see everyone is now happy that I've started to upgrade facilities, so this will put them in a more positive state of mind, so a good chance of actually being able to renew their contracts if you so wish. That is mentality in a nutshell. Not a lot, well, so there is a big change actually, because before it was just as simple, this person's unhappy, and there wasn't really a lot you could do, especially if, like, you know, you'd maxed out all your everything that you could, and they were still unhappy, and it just kind of drove them away. At least now you can kind of deep dive into what may or may not be wrong with them. You know, someone may just be unhappy because they're not happy with their contract. They might want a bit more money. You know, if they're, you know, 3 years into a contract and they're still in the same money, but they've improved quite a lot, then obviously they're going to want a pay rise, as anyone would in real life. So a new contract may just be needed. Okay, so that is mentality. The next one will be sponsors. So sponsors is a lot more different this year. Before, you kind of, I mean, in Season 1 you never really kind of got involved. It wasn't until the end of Season 1 where you went into Season 2 and you picked what you wanted your drivers to do or not to do, and how it would disrupt your day-to-day life in terms of your facilities. Here, you start off right at the beginning of the season, and you can pick one of 3 well, you've got 3 sponsors to negotiate with. These will obviously differ depending on your kind of how good your car is and what your reputation is. Obviously, right now we're a newcomer, so we're not going to have any great kind of offers out there. But you can see on the right hand side where it says performance reliance. So obviously you'll have targets to hit, and obviously if you want to give yourself a big challenge, you can kind of go right in there. But also you can obviously see, you get some more extra funds up front. So they're offering like 14, they're offering 3, and they're offering 19. But of course it differs, like from engagement, you got 27 million there, you got 17 million there, and 9 million. Or you can do race day, you got almost 20 million there, 5 million there, and 16 million there. For the purpose of this, we'll just go ahead and pick this one. And in here you can then pick 5 more additional kind of optional sponsors to help. And you can see here a few of them don't have a mandatory activity. Mandatory activities happen, you pick it once a month, and this happens no matter what you do. So in this one it says wind tunnel hire, so they will hire out your wind tunnel, and it will make your wind tunnel less effective when developing parts. Here you got driver marketability, which, to be fair, when you've got low drivers already, then it's not too much of a big deal. Obviously, but again, something I might come to later, probably not. Money, I've so far found out, is actually very important this year, and it's not just money is hard to come by. So for this one, we'll just stick with them. There's no mandatory activity. That one doesn't have mandatory activity. Neither does that one. Neither does that one. And then, again, you don't have to pick all 5. They're optional. So I'll do driver marketability. And there you go. So up front, we've got another 30 million in the bank, added to our already 24. So we're going to double what we already have. And you can see our race day earnings up to 31 million. And there you go. As you can see, Jack Doohan's driver marketability is going to be affected. And we confirm. And that just tells you kind of an overview of what your sponsor is going to be like over the coming season, over the coming month, in terms of the engagement and your race days. And there you go. And of course, once you've done that, once you've negotiated your sponsors, you can then of course edit. Because obviously once you create your team, you can't do that straight off. But yeah, you can edit in your kind of new decals on, so you can see the ones there, the one with the red S, that's the one that we've already done. And yeah, you can just go from there. You can add new ones. There you go. Just for the sake of video, there you go. Look, we've got a little simfish. Doesn't look particularly fang. Let's put our own logo on there, shall we? Right, and that basically covers sponsorship. There is a little bit more, which I'll get to in just a second. Once you've sorted out your sponsors, you'll be on the kind of sponsor plan screen. Again, these engagements are optional, but you can see on the right hand side here, that I'm just currently rotating, the more you do, the more kind of money you'll make. But as you can see, every single one has a negative side effect on your drivers. And you can see the more you basically have the target of getting to my target is currently 3,375, and you can see each one has a different weight. So for instance, this one, my factory is going to have a negative experience, so we'll just do that one. Again, you've got 6 slots here. Factory tour, so we can do that one. Driver performance, obviously you can decide to do that, but obviously as my drivers are both weak ones, I think I'll be staying away from making my drivers less effective. Same as driver mentality, obviously that will put them in a negative mood and potentially not want to renew his contract when it comes to it. Here again, design center don't really want to kind of affect that. Stars performance rating, they're already bad enough, so it's fine. Guided tours on a tour centre, again, that's not too bad because tour centre doesn't bring in that much. And then you can see we've met our engagement target, and you can see there the money there, we'll be getting in 2.6 for money, and there we go. That is your sponsor plan for the month, or this period I should say. An extra 1 million for the bank, and there you go. That is sponsorship. The next feature is the dynamic team AI. So previously, in the previous two versions of F1 Manager, both in 22 and 23, when it came to kind of signing staff and drivers, you always had the first pick, as it were. You know, you could go about signing drivers and staff willy-nilly without really getting challenged by the kind of AI. Now, in this year's game, unfortunately, I haven't come across it yet because I've only done a few races. Yes, the AI will practically look to sign better staff and drivers. So you can see here, you know, obviously this is out of contract at 2026, so I've got at least, you know, a couple of, well, 3 seasons. But obviously, yeah, being Jack Doohan, he's not very good yet, so he might not be poached. However, I do have Timona Ueda here, 86 rated head of aerodynamics. She may be very well poached. She has only got 10 months on her contract, and it costs 1.5 million to terminate. The other new thing, of course, in here, while we're in here, is going to be the driver affiliates. So usually you would have a third driver in your team, which you could put in at practice 1. Now you have affiliates. So when you start a new team, you are just given 2 randoms. This time we've got Lewis Winter and Anne Francois. But of course you can just sign. Well, you can't just go out and sign. But, you know, if you always want to look out for future talent, you can just go up here and have a look and see who is free. You can see these guys here have already got a contract. They're not interested because we've only just started the game on this particular save. But it's always worth keeping an eye out. So they've got a couple of free agents here. They're open to negotiation. So if we just look at Samantha Waghorn here, you can see, obviously we can scout them for 6 days, which is obviously a lot quicker. And here, when you go into a proposed contract, you'll see it's different. This is a new way of dealing with contracts. Again, you've got 1 to 5 seasons. The blue bar is the appeal. Now, the higher that little white line goes, the happier she is. So she's actually not that keen about signing immediately. She would actually prefer to sign next season. This is one thing to do with obviously dynamic AI, which will obviously potentially help you or hinder you. So this is the breakout multiplier. As it says there, if a team is trying to approach this staff member, they must pay the buyout fee times this multiplier. So, you know, if someone's got a 1 million buyout clause and it's on 0.50 here, then they would have to pay 1.5 million instead of the 1 million. But of course, the more you put it up, the less appeal it's going to be to your potential new recruit. For this time, we'll just put it down to there. You've got a sign-in bonus. Again, they're going to be happy. The more money you give them, we just go, see, you can see she's more happy. So 1 season, 2, 3, 4. So 3 seasons seems to be the sweet spot for her. Again, immediately or next season, there's not too much difference, to be fair. Salary, obviously she's going to probably want a bit of salary. We'll give her, 700k. And of course here, what's also new is usually it would, you would get the offer back straight away. You can still do that and say I want to know immediately, but again, as you can see the bar at the top, it will sway. So you can try, let's try it immediately, shall we? See if we get her. And see, there you go. This particular time, we've actually got a counter offer. So she's happy with being the affiliate. Free seasons is fine. Start date is actually fine. Salary, not so much. Breakout multiplier was fine. And sign-on bonus was neutral. So when you open the counter offer, there you go. So she's now got the window a lot smaller. So what we can do is just up the salary a little bit. Maybe sign-in bonus a bit more. Let's give her 1 million, shall we? Doesn't really deserve it, but there you go. But again, you can thing it, offer contract. And there you go. She's rejected again because doesn't want to come immediately. She doesn't want to kind of answer straight away. So in that case, oh look how. Oh. So we'll just do that. Offer deadline in 7 days, and this time the offer will just get sent off. It's sent, and there you go. In 7 days, she will let you know whether you're successful or not. The last thing we'll mention on this new features video is to do with the race weekend. So first off is the race targets. Before, you would kind of choose, it would mainly be kind of like how many cars into Q2 to Q3, whether or not you got a fastest lap bonus, and then just kind of like a third one would be like a consistent, like how many times do you think you could qualify in the top 15? Can you do it 2 or 3 races in a row? That has now been revamped into kind of a single weekend. So here you can see Jack doing. Obviously we've got the worst car at the moment, so the game said, or our targets are, do we want to try and finish 18th, 20th or 21st? And you can see there's incremental kind of rewards, high risk, high reward, but of course if you don't finish 18th then you don't get that money. And obviously as we've got the worst car on the grid, 21st is probably a safe bet, and of course you go to car 2 and they have the same targets. But we don't know who's going to finish first, Dennis Hauger or his teammate. Now, quickly, as we go into the race weekend, let's just cut off Crofty before we get copyrighted. Let's just quickly exit this, and you can see now you can simulate all the way to the race. So you can skip practice, you can skip qualifying and go straight to the race. I wouldn't potentially recommend this because you know, your setup will be all over the place, so it's always worth kind of doing at least, you know, 1 session of practice. So for now, do you know what, while I'm here, I'm just gonna, I know the Bahrain's set up by the back of my hand, so I'll just do this for both drivers, because the one thing I want to show you guys is the new camera. Okay, we're good to go. Manage session, and we will let Jack Doohan go out. There's our nice new car livery. Everyone in their nice Xbox Tavern gear. And you can see on the left is the leaderboard. A lot more teams now will put their academy drivers. You can see Ferrari have actually put both Bearman and Sportsman in the in practice one. Got award with in McLaren. Mercedes haven't done it. Red Bull haven't done it. Awasa's in the RB. But so the new camera is the Helicam. Not a lot of noise because obviously it's the helicopter, and obviously F1 cars aren't really noisy anymore these days. But yeah, this is the glorious new Helicam in action. And now I've had a good chunk of that, I shall be back in a couple of seconds. Right, so this time we're going to simulate all the way to qualifying. Obviously, I know, like I said, you can select to race, but if I just do a quick simulator practice, as you can see, it takes no time at all. For those wanting to do a speed run, you absolutely can. We'll just interrupt Crofty one more time. And this is why I recommend doing your car setup, because you can see he's only got a 70% satisfaction. If you go into it, you're able to see the kind of what have they done to my car. So we'll just put it back to where it was, and then we've got a good starting point of where things want to be. This guy obviously wants to have more straight line speed. Traction needs to be, oh dear. It's fine, we'll move that there. Probably got distracted with the with that. Obviously, you can it's important to remember that even if you do fiddle, if you then skip quali and go to the race, it will just revert back to. Thanks again, Crofty. You can see we qualified 21st and 22nd, so a great start for our young drivers. You can see it's reverted back to the setup, so it's always best to try and do qualifying. I mean, you can just skip if you want to. If you're happy with a 70% car, that's fine, but you can see, you know, we've got too much straight line speed in this car, judging by how Jack Doohan wants his car set up. And same with Dennis Hauger. You can see, yeah, not any bads, but you can see it's still pretty bad. You can obviously do last minute changes, but that'll potentially ruin it. Now, of course, the last thing, you can now skip the race. So if you do want to get the first year out of the way, or the first 2 or 3 years out of the way, then you don't have to sit through 20 minutes of skipping through a race. So now you can just simply click simulate session and be done with it. And I imagine we are 21st and 22nd.
What a race that was! And there, of course, we see Lance strolling in.
Oh!
Yeah, they crossed the line P11, sadly
Crofty
just
pun.
missing out on the points.
Lando Norris certainly loves a podium.
There we go, Lando Norris wins the first race of the season.
Celebrate again.
Let's see where we finished. Did we finish? Oh my goodness. Dennis Hauger retired. However, he finished 21st, which means he will get that bonus. Jack Doohan finished last of the runners. And that will be quite telling, actually, because if we now continue, look, we got paid out. Even though he retired, we got paid out. And there we go, folks. That will round up, or finish off, I should say, this kind of the new features video. There's obviously a lot more to it, a lot more nitty gritties, but I don't want to spoil everything. So go out there and buy the game and play it when it's out on the 22nd. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It means the world to us. And yes, before I waffle on, thank you and goodbye.